So we're going to talk about plant screens. So here's my question to you. Why do we need to use plants as screens?
Well, there could be several different reasons why folks might want to use a screen in their home landscape. So number one usually is to block out other people, right? They want some privacy, right? So blocking out those neighbors, trying to get, you know, a sense of privacy, right, from those folks that are living right next to us. Another reason that we might want to use screens is to kind of block out some of the more functional areas of your landscape. So maybe you have, you know, a work shed or, you know, a work area that maybe you don't want to be right in your visual line from the place where you're relaxing. So maybe that's your patio or a hardscape area near the home. So several different reasons that we could utilize screens. Also to, you know, provide for wildlife. We're going to have a higher amount of wildlife coming in if we can have varying degrees of height and layers in our landscapes to provide for different types of birds and other animals that might be coming into the landscape.
Yeah, let's let the wildlife come on into the landscape.
Yes. So we have a few different reasons why people may look to using screens. Another one that I hear a lot is, you know, folks are concerned about how expensive putting in a fence would be. And so they think that it's going to be less expensive to use plants, and that is not always the case. They're like, let's just pick one plant, let's plant a bunch of them, have it done, and in their mind they think that's less expensive than an install of a fence.
That is interesting.
But a risk that we face with monoculture plantings is when pests or disease come into play. All of those plants would be susceptible. Like if one's susceptible, they all are. So a way to kind of protect ourselves in that type of situation is to use what we like to call a mixed screen. So you're utilizing not only more than one type of plant species, but we're using different levels, different heights, different foliage and texture type plants, and mixing those together to really create a nice visual interest that's gonna, you know, be easier on the eye than just staring at one plain plant over and over and over.
Yeah, we want it to be easy on the eyes.
That's right. So in that mixed planting, if a pest came in and you only have one or two or three of that particular plant, it's 3 plants. It's not 40 plants.
Good point.
So you know, some things to take into consideration and some different ways that we, you know, look at screens. And what we encourage folks to do is really lean towards those mixed plantings.
All right, so you're going to show us some
Yes, we've got some great examples. We've
Okay.
got some great examples right here. So I'm going to start out by showing us a group of Arborvitae is a common name what you'll find in the market if you're going out shopping. This is Thuja occidentalis. This particular one right here is called American Pillar. It's common on the market, easy to find. Nearly all garden centers are going to have this plant available for you. It has a medium to fast growth rate. You can see here that we've got a, a nice width, so I feel like its mature width is going to be around, you know, 6 to 8 feet wide. We've got some really good height on this plant, so this is going to be a great, what I like to call a backbone plant for that screen to really get things started, start filling things in, and then we can fill in around this plant with some different colors, different textures, maybe even some lower deciduous shrubs. But I really do love this plant. You may also see it on the market called Full Speed Ahead. So,
Full Speed Ahead.
I know. American Pillar was its actual cultivar name, but then as it got more popular, they've rebranded that. So you may see it called both things. But
So we don't have to worry about disease, insects, anything.
We do have some bagworm issues with these evergreens, but you know, that's something that we just need to keep an eye on. I want to show us another one here. This particular cultivar is called Thin Man. Thin Man, tall and skinny, right? And this has a completely different purpose in the landscape or in a screen planting. If you have very narrow spaces, this can be super helpful in those types of situations. You can see how tight it is.
Yeah, it is tight.
It's going to have one of the thinnest, tightest columnar forms of these Arborvitae. So that's a great option, and also not as common to find it as the American Pillar, but still relatively easy to find in the trade. I've got one more Arborvitae I want to show with this. This is called Skywalker.
I like
and
it.
so I love Skywalker because it's an in-between from the American pillar and the thin man, right? So it's got kind of this medium width habit where it's going to be anywhere from like 3 to 6 feet wide.
Okay.
Then it's going to get a mature height of about 15 feet. And I feel like it could fit a special niche in a screen planting. I have some more to show us.
So there's more?
There's more. We've got some broadleaf evergreens. You want to come see them?
Let's go check them out.
Okay. So, Chris, this is a broadleaf evergreen called Foster Holly.
Familiar with that?
It is a naturally occurring native hybrid to the southeast. So 2 different native species crossed naturally without human aid, and the Foster Holly was born.
How about that?
And once it was discovered, right, it exploded in the trade. They used to be used widely in home landscapes, but we saw them used a lot improperly on home landscapes. Put on the the corners of buildings, too close to structures. But this plant can get massive if allowed the space to grow. So 30 feet tall, varying widths. In this particular planting, we've got them spaced pretty closely together, maybe 5 or 6 feet apart, and the objective here was to create a wall. So we certainly can do that. And this screen could be even more visually interesting if we came in with some lower understory plants and kind of continued to build this screen out. But I certainly wanted to share this plant with you, show you some of its excellent qualities for screening. It has a medium growth rate, and depending on the quality of the soil, could grow even faster than that.
Really, even
has
faster?
Really nice berry set. You can see they're already starting to develop. Those are going to be a bright red, great for our wildlife, and really a jewel for a landscape setting, especially in a screen.
Yeah, we definitely want to include something for the wildlife.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to share another plant with you, another broadleaf evergreen.
All right, Celeste, what do we have here?
Yes, this is the last broadleaf evergreen I wanted to share with y'all today. This is Alyssum parviflorum. So a niche tree, commonly called in the trade. And I love this plant because it is so versatile.
You like it?
It can thrive in shady conditions or sun. And that's
versatile.
Yes, and that's especially difficult to find for broadleaf evergreen plants, things that are going to do well and thrive in shade specifically. So that's one reason why I love this plant. Also, the leaves have a unique kind of licorice anise scent when you crush them. They smell so good. And it has a small but insignificant bloom in spring, and then develops some pretty neat seed heads here as we get later into the season. Isn't that pretty?
That's pretty nice.
So versatile, not a lot of pests, no heavy diseases to worry about here. Again, a southeast native, so gonna work well in gardens here in the southeast. That wraps us up for evergreen broadleafs, but I want to share some deciduous plants with you.
All right, let's go.
We can use those too.
Let's do it.
So, Chris, you know, we do generally build our screen plantings with evergreens as the primary backbone, right? The skeleton of our screen plantings, because those evergreens are going to provide year-round privacy. However, I don't want people to forget the importance of deciduous shrubs, the role that they can play in a screen. So we can get, you know, seasonal color from deciduous shrubs, we can get seasonal bloom, and in some cases, if you're not an evergreen type person, you can build a privacy screen completely from deciduous plantings.
I like that.
We just have to space them a little closer than you normally would in a landscape type setting, right, to fill those gaps. And we can actually mix deciduous in with evergreens for filler, for understory, and for all those different seasonal interests that we talk about.
I like it.
So behind us here, we've got a combination of sweet shrub, calycanthus, that's a native shrub. So we can get some early spring and summer blooms from that. Beautiful, large leaves for the majority of the growing season, so lots of attributes for that. You'll also see we've got a rose of Sharon mixed in there, so that provides summer-long blooms, right?
Love
so we're trying to hit all the different seasons
I see
here.
what you're doing.
And then paniculata hydrangea, which many of those cultivars get pretty large, so they can be pretty useful in screen plantings as well. So don't want to underestimate the power of deciduous.
Yeah, let's don't do that, right? So beautiful blooms and flowers and leaves and
and if folks want to learn more about screens or, you know, kind of dive deeper, I want to invite them to visit uthort.com. And things are organized by topics. So go to the landscape tile, go to plant selection, and they're gonna see all of our plant recommendation lists for Tennessee housed at that site.
That'll be good, because some of these plants that you're mentioning are probably in that publication.
Exactly.
Right? Thank you, Celeste. We appreciate that.
All right, thanks.